Good morning and welcome back to Elden Ring, or our Elden Ring lore playthrough. We are going to move into Caelid because I want to get that medallion, right? We've got a bunch of paths to take. We need to get up into the Altus Plateau. Two ways to do it, but like the Finger Raider said, we can take the coward's way and go through the tunnel. We will, but I want to go ahead and get the medallion too, and that's a good excuse for us to kind of go over here into Caelid. Which already looks awful. And what do we know about it? We know that it is where Radon halted millennia and like the brought forces, or just something. And we're starting from the Smoldering Church, and there's going to be quite a bit of things up here that kind of connect there. And this sword memorial we know is where like Godfrey's forces ultimately stopped. Right, like that's where they stopped, and then that's where he ended up like losing his grace or something like that, right? Because that's where the Third Church of America, that's where we hear about that. So he didn't like push into this area. Really, the Erd Tree only went from like somewhere over here down where they fought in Liurnia. It was like Radigan's forces, and Godfrey is swept across here, I guess, where they. I assume maybe Stormvale and, the whole of Limgrave or the Pale Lands were kind of sworded. And then you had down here into the Weeping Peninsula where there was like a lone kind of rebel who was then defeated by Godfrey. And look at the ground. So it's no longer dirt. It's got kind of a pinkish hue to it, which lines up with the items that we get, like the faded Erdleaf flower, where it says it's like a kind of faded pink hue due to the blight, the rot. And even these dogs, like, if you get in and you look at them, like they're applying scarlet rot, but look how they've got these like fungal growths to them. Yeah, they're gnarly. Like, look at that. So it's kind of crazy that things like that could live with that on them, which, I mean, given kind of the state and nature of the world, right? Things just kind of live. They don't really just die. Now, speaking of that Smoldering Church over there, right, is a smoldering fiery wall, like completely blocking the road. So what is the point of it being on fire? Now, if you got things that are covered in some kind of fungus thing, get some nice freaking The Last of Us stuff going on, yeah, maybe that is why there would be fire. But then we get our first real view of Caelid. Desolate trees, a giant bird, ruins. We can see more giant fungal looking things on the ground. That bird looks absolutely cadaverous, but look how he's not actually covered in any of those like fungal growths. And look at the scenery there. That is a giant skull. You can see the eye socket, the nose. That's some teeth and probably a mouth. So, I mean, we know see, there's another one right there. Actually, you can really see the teeth. But we know giants are a thing. So, are those? They'd have to be skeletal remains of giants, right? It's rotting. Everything rotting scarlet. The very earth that Caelid rests upon, and Celia, town of sorcery. The end is nigh for us all. Okay, so Celia, right? We know a tiny bit about there. Where from some of the spells, we know that Selen was maybe from there, hence her name, Selen, Celia. And the fact that they kind of came from, or that they were kind of like magic assassins. That's awful. That they would use their magic to kill their others, right? Now, see, I mentioned those bodies before, and like we didn't like officially fight any of them. Those things don't like fire so much, which actually I could do this. But what's interesting about them is, they got that kind of hollowed out look, which is another common kind of theme that we see across many of, different. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Across many different enemies in the game, and they are like to the extreme though, because they have literally nothing all throughout there. Their body basically seems to be skeletal, and like those white markings, god dang it, to me, are very reminiscent of the, like, Onyx Lords or Alabaster Lords, whichever one, right? Because they've got some kind of marking things on their body. And when they can do an attack where they spew a big line of things out. And overall, it kind of reminds me of an enemy from Dark Souls 3. It's these, like, maggoty hollows where they just spew out big things of maggots. There's some that are, like, possessed by these big, giant amalgamations of these, like, maggots. Like, they're pretty gnarly. Yeah, and look how there's, like, blades everywhere. Now, that's a path that could take us down to... Oh, can it take us to it? I don't... No, we have to go a different way, it looks like. That is a lot of weapons. So this was maybe a side of a battle. They put up a wall to stop something like that. Like, those things, right, when it grabbed us, it was afflicting scarlet rot to us. So, you know, if Radon and maybe his own army halted the scarlet rot, they probably did put some kind of burning wall to keep them from getting by. And I mean, we've seen all along here, like, many different forts. Like, there's a fort right there. We saw another one, like, we can kind of see it out there, right? Yeah, there's stuff there. I swear there's like 2 over right around here. Like, there's a one right there. There's another one somewhere else. Different ruins right there. Yeah. And it is just a big horde of them. And I wonder, I've never, like, sat and watched them go. But I wonder if they get to the end, like, do they just stop? I'm going to wait. And we're going to find out. Something kind of interesting here right now, too, is it's raining. Which, I mean, I guess it's weather. It can rain. But for a place that just seems so desolate and dead, it just feels weird to have it. Like, it almost feels like there's all kinds of shrubbery, but maybe it's a color. It makes me think deserty, because there's no real tree life. Like, they're just all dead. And even down there, like that part there looks, that's a goat horse thing. I don't know, sections down there look like sand to me. Yeah, they really are just, they're turning towards where that road should go, except there's a firewall. Huh. Oh, they turned away now, though. Okay, so are they going to go over there? That's the Shack of the Rotting. Are they all going to go sit in the house? Huh. A couple of them stopping here. Is this... Oh, no. Still going? Where are you guys going? Notice how the grace fades out when the enemies get really close to it. I know it's just a game mechanic too, but I guess you could, like, argue that it's, you know, because they are not graced by grace, it fades to them. I don't know. Are they just about to loop back down the main road? That's kind of boring. All right, they're going back to the wall, it looks like, or maybe just going in a circle now. We're gonna move on. I'm gonna move on. This hasn't been long for you. It's been very long for me. So pushing forward, we already saw some giant birds. There's one of those cart things and a bunch of big creatures. The head looks like a dog. It looks like a T-Rex, though. I wonder... yeah, they have to be dogs, right? But they've just got massive heads. Like, why are they like that? Is that something to do with, like, they're feeding off the ground? Is it something to do with, like, the scarlet rot? Or were they already like that? And there's a beetle there too, and obviously us chasing the beetle will be really sketchy, which is a whole point of the beetle, I would say, is to be very dangerous to get with these giant beasts, but we're gonna get it. We can make it happen. 1, 2, oh no! Oh, no. Oh, there's a soldier body on the ground. So maybe they're feeding off some kind of soldiers. Probably Radons, right? Ooh, good stagger. Get them in the eye. Their eyes kind of yellowy. Oh, huge teeth. Like, yeah, I mean, they look like they've got, like, little arms. Oh, look at them go. I mean, they're like a T-Rex dog, man. Oh. I'm okay. Got him. Huh. Okay, so a red and blue soldier with a lion of sorts on the front. It looks like it maybe even has a sword on there. Cool. Here's another one of these carts. There should be some kind of item in there. The great sword. It's you know, it's guts inspired sword. I don't know that it actually says anything super amazing in it. Why did I do that? What is happening? Of course, iron lump of an ultra great sword mows down foes, utilizing its incredible weight. Okay, yeah. Not really anything amazing there. There's one of those big birds. We also got that whirl of flame spell. Oh, he's on us. Gotta be careful. Owie, wasn't paying attention. Look at the teeth in that thing, man. I wonder any relation to the death bird things that we were fighting? The head isn't right. The other one had like a Tweety bird looking freaking head. This is like some big, I don't know what you would call it. Oh, there we go. I need to get over to his head. I want that critical hit for health and mana. Gotcha. Look how like the whole ground is like literally rotted. There's bodies of those dog things meshed in with it, and they're like getting all fungally. Huh. And there's one of those banners. Yeah, see, it is a lion with like a sword. I would say it's a lion. So this was a campsite of sorts. Maybe it got overrun by the beasts, or maybe it just got abandoned. I don't know. There's still items here, you know, gameplay stuff. Rune Arc. We do need to check out that spell, the Whirl of Flame. Fire beguiles those who gaze into it, and so the Guardians of the Flame are also its worshippers. So these other ones are incantations originating from a sinister prophecy. This Flame of the Fell God stems directly from the power of the fire giants and like this Fell God, and it talks about this chief of Guardian of the Flame, Arganthy. Now we've got this thing, and it's superior incantation of the fire monks. Creates a spiraling stream of fire that burns the area, charging enhances the potency and reach. So like if we have this dude who's a guardian of the flame, perhaps like did they become beguiled? Or maybe that's Aiden. So there's that thief Aiden. He stole the flame. Did he become beguiled by it, right? By guarding the flame and watching it, he became like enchanted, kind of like the moon, and then stole the flame, which still harbors the fell god. And I mean, if he was enchanted and there is in fact some kind of fell god still existing within it, it would make sense that they would want him to steal it, because it would probably want to get out. Caelem Ruins. All right, so this looks like it might have been a town, you know, a little like waypoint town of sorts. Follow the road, bam, here it is. But ruins. There's a good look, or better look at that giant skull thing. We can still summon our bird. Now look at that, like zombie dude, cadaver. He's literally on fire. Like the fire itself is not killing him. Hi. Kelly, like, huh. So when you watch him do that, notice how he hugs his arms across his body, and that's where the flame seems to be kind of coming out of, is like that big hole in his like chest and abdomen, right? And so when he hugs himself, maybe he's like containing the flame, because it didn't look like the flames were really bursting out as much. So when he holds it in there, that's when he starts to explode. So it, you know, it's building up because he's not letting it out at all, and then he explodes, and that's what happens. There's a big pile of burning bodies. And they're not dead. All right, we're not going to fight all that. There's a lot of them. Oh, look, there's one of those carts. We saw them in Liurnia. So are these soldiers for Radon? And I wonder, like, so why did Liurnia have one? Was it just like a sort of like cross, like sharing of like technologies of sorts, maybe? Or, you know, maybe they stole it. Maybe they all kind of came to the same type of thing. I don't know. It makes sense that they would be here, though, and that they would use it if fire is maybe supposed to be good against the rot. And there's definitely some kind of tie-in with that, and then like the fire blossoms and giants. Though of course it could be simply that the fire blossoms are a good source for fire, and there isn't actually some tie-in there outside of literally using it for a material. There's another one. I don't know if I can do the sweet critical hit. You can see on the backside, look how it's got those handles and a little like chimney at the top. Oh, I did it. I haven't done that in a long time. That's cool. Moving away, right? That was fun. The one thing though, right? You know, they're using all this fire to like kind of burn and push back the rot, which makes sense to me. But one, it obviously didn't work too well. Well, maybe it did, right? Because it didn't spread into Limgrave. But I mean, it still exists. So like they didn't win. They maybe didn't lose either. They were both on a stalemate, which matches up with what he said about Radahn. He fought it to a standstill. That's a stalemate, right? But those zombie dudes, I mean, they're still moving. They're on fire, but they don't seem to care. So, here we go. Here's our little treasure room. What's gonna be in there? 2 mad pumpkin heads, and they've got fiery weapons. Lines up with what, you know, they've been fighting. Because if they are working for Radahn forces, they're going to need the fire, probably. Owie. Uh-oh. There we are. Owie. Stay strong, bird. Even when we hit him in the head, we're still inflicting blood loss, so I'm not too worried about if we're just catching his armor. And maybe a nice little stagger would be good too. We can just block it, counter strike, and down he goes. Get that sweet critical hit somewhere. There we go. Oh no, our Warhawk. No! Ow. Oh, one more? Yeah, that's what I thought. And down they go. Not too bad of a fight. Depending on how early you come here, this can be pretty burly. So they were guarding something, I would say. Or resting, maybe. I don't know. It's also mechanics, too. It's a game. Gotta temper your thoughts there. What are we gonna get? Visage Shield. Alright. It's a great shield. It takes a lot of strengths. 44 strengths. I mean, we're pretty close. We're only 4 off. Tricksome bronze shield depicting the face of a fire giant. The dreadful visage and burning flames are designed to remind one of the horror facing a fire giant. In other words, this shield has instructional function. It has a unique skill, Tongues of Fire. You ready the shield and then it sprays violent jets of fire from the tongues protruding from its maw. Hold to continue spraying fire. This skill can be used while walking. So it looks just like the contraption wheelie cart things that we were just fighting outside, and it's the face of a fire giant. Interesting. So there could be that, because it's the face of a fire giant, that could explain why you see it in Liurnia around the academy, because the academy, or at least the Caelid family or the astrologers of old who came before, oh, he can shoot fucking fireballs, or the astrologers who came before the Glintstone sorcerers, were neighbors with the giants at the mountains where they gazed upon the stars, and they had that axe, the what's it called? Oh, Icewind hatchet, which was a gift given by Castle Saul in the distant north. And then there's that whole Sword of Night and Flame, which has ties in with the giants and like Liurnia, Caelid family. So it makes sense that you would find some, you know, fire giant phase contraption thing near where they are, and then over here, because they're using it for fire. So maybe it actually originated with Liurnia and then spread here, or that they borrowed it from them. And you know what also would make sense about that? Who's Radahn's mother? It's Rennala. Renala would have stemmed from these astrologers, has tie-in with the giants. They developed maybe that fire giant walking tank, fire-breathing thing, and Radon being related to her would be able to have like access to it or something to that nature, right? All right, there's a castle over there. That's kind of where we want to go. We hit these ruins, but we kind of want to go there. There's also some ruins right here that we should probably just hit up on the way as well. Oh, big bird. Oh, did he see us? It kind of sounded like it. Oh, yeah. He's not like flying though. Do you see that? His wings are too small. His body's too big. Like he can't actually fly, I think. He's just too grotesquely large, and I missed the visceral. That's unfortunate. Okay, let me get it this time, please. I wanted the HP and FP back. So what ruins are gonna be here? Forsaken ruins. Okay. So these were abandoned. Unlike the Caelem ones, where they're still not necessarily troops, though there are troops, I guess, but they have the fire giant tanks. Nothing's here. So why? Okay. Imp statue head. It's sealing something up. Trina lilies. We can summon our bird again. Lots of places here where we can use our spirit summons. Oh, another bird. Hey, bud. Hey, give me the critical hit. Thank you. The thing about these big birds and those big dog things, right? Even if they are like natural, right? Like they are supposed to be like that and they're not just like grotesquely mutated into those forms, they don't look healthy. Like they look patchy. Their eyes are sunken in. That thing looked like it had a sore on its head. Like they just don't look good. Which, I mean, if there's some kind of a rot and they're eating bodies and things afflicted by it, it is probably making them sick to some extent. All right, so what's in there? That is the question now. Don't have enough now to summon our bird, but that's okay. Deep down. Forsaken. If it's forsaken, it means they abandoned it. Then there's an imp seal, which means somebody sealed it up, closed up the door, and said, nobody should go in here? But it's just an item. Sword of Saint Trina. Oh, okay, and there's Trina's lilies. Why did... Maybe somebody was living here, and then when the rot started coming in, they forsake it. Like, they just, like, dipped out. They're like, all right, we're out. And they couldn't take the treasure with them, so they just sealed it up. It seems like it would be a lot easier to take this sword with them, rather than just, like, implement all these defenses to keep people from getting it. Silver sword, carried by clerics of Saint Trina, inflicts sleep ailment. Saint Trina is an enigmatic figure. Some say she is a comely young girl, others are sure he is a boy. The only certainty is that their appearance was as sudden as their disappearance. Okay, so we know there's like maybe some whole kind of like group or cult or something kind of going with them, because there's like these like fervor cookbooks or something about somebody who's like really seeking it out. And, you know, there's another item. Let's see here. There's these slumbering eggs, owl eggs that will never hatch, used for crafting items, prized as a symbol of the most sublime slumber. I swear I had something else that kind of talked about it, but maybe I'm mixing things in, and I'm not sure anymore. Oh, look on the road here. All right, there's two paths. Oh, look, there's soldiers, and they're fighting the big dog thing. And if you look right here, look, there's another dude with a crossbow. And a bunch of those stone diggers. Huh. That's some fort, right? Big fortified path. Makes sense. Side of Grace, we can see it. Now, it's a path, and it's going somewhere. It's going right up there. And if we follow it along on the map, there is this spot right here. So it's like a mine that they maybe are transporting between. So are they bringing materials from the mine to the fort? We should definitely go down there and get that Side of Grace, though. And look over there, too. Is a different type of dog. He's got a different color, and, I mean, he's even behaving differently. He's up and, like, sniffing the air. I mean, when we see packs of wolves out and about in, you know, in the game, in the wild, there are typically, like, a larger white wolf that is, like, the leader, it seems. It's typically a little bit stronger than the others. Sometimes there's, like, a couple of them, but, yeah. Yeah. Flame of the Redmanes. Alright, Redmanes. Flames, tying in with pretty much everything we're seeing so far here. Flame of the Redmanes. Skill of the Redmanes who fought alongside General Radahn. Alright. Produce a powerful burst of flame in a wide frontward arc. So, these Redmanes fought by General Radahn. Alright. Cool. That's really not a lot for us right here. But maybe with all these soldiers, if we get some of their gear, that's when we can find some things. I mean, look at how they are fortified. They've got things burning up. They've definitely been collecting all those beasts. I mean, dead, rotting, piled up, staked. More soldiers up ahead. So what's in this fort? I mean, it might just be a fortification. It's not a very big one, though, right? Where you get some of the others, like, say, like Fort Height here is relatively small. But then when you go down here and you get into castle, this is a castle. So this, right, tower. So maybe it is just more of a fort, not so much a castle. It's pretty small. Do we sit there and we just like battle through everybody? I might do that, man. Let's be bold. We got flame fortification. That's gonna help us out, I think. Do that, followed by some more bleed. Let's go. We're going to stab you in the back, or I'm gonna miss. Uh-oh, owie, owie. Why can't I do anything? There we are. I can't move. There we go. Alright. That's a lot of fire. Hey, hey, hey. See, they're doing the fire torch thing, much like the, we got that one, the, like, copper-lined one that, you know, enhances the fire effect of it and allows you to do the fire-breathing technique. Of the knights, this is a little, like, out of character or something, right? Knowledge of what we know. The Redmane soldiers and knights are my favorite. There's Radahn soldier Greaves. They're my favorite simply because they use so many different things. Now, I would probably really like the Godric ones a lot, or the Limgrave, Stormvale soldiers, whatever you want to call them. But, you know, they're the beginning of the game, so they're very simple in what they have and what they can do. But I like a lot of the Stormvale Ash of Wars and stuff, so that's kind of why I like them. Radahn soldier Greaves. Oh, soldiers who fought by General Radahn's side. Wow, thanks. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. What is that? Oh, that's like, we see a similar effect of that outside of the Carrion Manor. That's the enchantment that's keeping the knights and soldiers of the Cuckoo out. Very similar. That one's more like blue magic, but see how this one's got purple? It has to be gravity magic. Now that also tracks with what we know about General Radahn, because what did he do? He studied gravitational magic under an Alabaster Lord, and we learned that from one of the gravitational pull things. And that dude, we just saw up there, we saw him shoot the arrow. So there's some kind of magical gravity archery going on. We need to get away from all this. Boom, get the critical roll. Oh, I was so early on that roll. He's so delayed. Maybe I'll send in my bird. Maybe bird can distract guys. Alright, roll. Spin. I love Stormcaller. I think that one's a blast. Need to be very careful though. Okay, asshole. I got an itchy face. Everything's itching. My nose, my eye. I've got lots of dudes trying to get me right now. Heal. Alright. There he is. Yeah, and see, this is one of those... See, this is what I mean about, like, how I like the Redmane Knights the most. Because, like, outside of, like, maybe the, you know... I mean, some of the other Knights do more things, too. But, like, I mean, this guy's doing cool gravity magic. When you start fighting them more, like, you're going to see more techniques used by them. Like, they're so cool. Yeah, it's a big old lion. It's got red plume on the top. Yeah, I want to get more of their armor. And it'll just take time. But we made it up. As we go up these steps, you can see it does seem to be kind of a carbon copy of Fort Height, except we cannot go in the front gate. It is closed. It's a Stake of America. Come around the side, trying to trick us. We can drop down, go down. It's a pretty awesome view of everything. Hey, bud. Oh, we can see more things way out there in the distance, too. Look at that. Oh. Bodies. And more of those contraptions. Okay. Cool. That's for something later, I guess. That's a church is what it looks like. Alright. I mean, look at this place. It is Scarlet Rot Blighted Lands of Caelid. It's a Caelid Wilds. Now, when you say wilds, it makes me think like kind of jungle, like wilderness, right? It's wilds, but there's really nothing left. That's a big liony monster. Yeah, but there's not really any like vegetation left. It's just this like kind of, it's really just a barren space. Oh no. Blah. I don't remember what that item is. I kind of don't want to get it because I'm afraid of falling off, but we'll try. Warming stone. Amazing. Alright, a couple more soldiers. There's a knight coming out. This one has a partisan as opposed to the other one having that great shield or great sword. Gotcha. Part of the reason I like shield bash, being able to do things like that. Look at that. You know what move that's like? I haven't used it, but Giant Hunt used to fight foes of a larger stature, right? Now he's pulling out a battle cry. Like, see how he's just using all these cool different techniques. His, look at his, like, little, I don't know what you call that, shoulder front guard, jousting guard. It's, like, all blackened, maybe from just fire. Okay, what do you have to say, bud? Convene the Festival of War. I've heard about that from Alexander. Honor General Radon with a warrior's glory. It's in your hands, Sir Jerren. Huh. Alrighty. What is this? Star Scourge Heirloom. Let's take a look at it. Talisman engraved with a scene from a heroic tale. So see, this one is like the two fingers. It's a legend of the two fingers. This is a scene from a heroic tale, raising strength. You can see there's like a, looks like a guy holding two blades on a horse. The mightiest hero of the demigods confronted the falling stars alone, and thus did he crush them, his conquest sealing the very fate of the stars. I'm trying to think of, you know, the mightiest hero of the demigods. I mean, so far, right, if we look at the clues of, like, whose territory are we moving into right now? It's Radon, so that would probably be who he's talking about, right? We get up here. It's a sending stone. Where is it going to send us? So is it going to send us that way because that's the direction it's facing? Is it going to send us that way? You know, like, where is this going to send us? Because there's still a little dungeon-y thing I want to go do over there, too. But let's see. Yeah.
You want to be a unicorn?
Okay, I'll be a unicorn. That good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We are... Oh, my earbuds got a little messed up. Let me fix that real quick. We look far away. We're far away. Oh. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. Alright, we gotta run now. Time to run. Dodge around that. Soldiers. Okay. Jeez. Angle. Alright. I don't particularly want to be here. Oh, Jesus. Most of the time, you know, when there's a kind of like sending stone thing, it doesn't send you right into combat. You know, it puts you out of place, you know, maybe a little different, a little far away or something. But like generally, you know, not immediately deadly to your health. Yeah, hi there. I see you. That's what I think about that. All right. Cool. All right. Big castle. Hold on a second. Wait, so we know... All right. The Dectus Medallion. Said to be in Fort Ferrith in the Dragon Burrow far to the east. All right. We haven't seen a Dragon Burrow. We are far to the east now, but, like, that's a fort. The fort are the small ones. This is not a small one, so this is not Fort Ferrith. This is some kind of castle. We can't go in. There's lines up there. We just heard that troll. He's got fire. Of course he does. Ooh, and what's different about him as opposed to some of the other trolls, like the, well, the Academy trolls, or the enchanted ones, they start with their swords drawn. The other ones in Limgrave, like I would say the grafted ones, or Stormvale trolls, they don't start with their swords drawn. Like, that's like a phase 2 improvement. So he must be aligned with the Redmanes, because obviously that's where we are. He's got fire. There's an Ash of War move, Flame of the Redmanes. So they are very involved with flames, which is kind of interesting, honestly, because I don't think I've read anything so far saying that's what Radahn does. Radahn, the only thing I've read about for him is gravity magic, which kind of makes sense with the old... Which makes sense with him being the son of Renal, you know, a sorcerer of sorts, right? So is he a sorcerer? Is he general in the sense that he's like a brilliant tactician? Can I please summon the horse? Why can't I summon Torrent? God dang it. Oh! No, no, no. Oh. That was pretty close. We did it, though. Oh, look at those catapults. Aren't we lucky those weren't firing at us? Bats. That makes sense. This is a cliffside, maybe. They're just hanging around, collecting food. There's a lot of them. Watch out for a gap. We come around. We're circling the castle. This is like some backside. Yeah, the back where there's cemetery. If you look right there, over by that tree. Like that. The beetle. The beetles are always traps, dude. It's the old granny ones. Alright, but we want that beetle. We saw there was a door, too. Oh my god, I can't hit him. Oh my god, I can't hit him. I'm not gonna make it. Hit it. Thank you. Flaming Strike. Very good, Ash of War. Up we go. Another skill from the Redmane side, imagine. Redmane Castle. Alright. Alright, there's a lot of soldiers around here. Hi guys, don't mind me. Hey, Radahn soldier gloves. You know what I bet they say? Worn by soldiers who followed Radahn. Let's get this knight, though. He's got a perpetually flaming sword, too. Look at us, we've got a flame, too. Ours is a little more red. No big deal. I can do counter strikes. Look at that. Boom. And now you bleed out. Yep, just like that. Yeah. Blood Flame enchantment's pretty strong. Redmane Knight Helmet. Cool. What's that say? Helm worn by knights who fought by General Radahn's side. The red plume is a symbol of Radahn's pedigree as Lord Radagon's son, the mane of the proud Red Lion. Cool. Alright. So, sign of pedigree of Lord Radagon's son. So Radagon had red hair, if that's his thing. We're doing a little, what's it called? Freaking Game of Thrones, Lord Ed Neddard Stark, freaking looking at the old Joffrey hair colors. Oh, how did that miss? All right. No, we're not doing this. No. 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 What's in here? Be wary of weak foe. Okay. Oh, commoners. That makes sense because, you know, you're going to need a low workforce to run a castle. You can't just have soldiers. Here's a sort of shortcut, which, I mean, honestly, yeah, we need that because we don't have any sites of grace right near here. Like, we teleported over here, and where did we show up? We showed up over here, and then had to get up here, which this looks like a bridge. Another small land bridge connection going on here. I mean, even looking at the, look at this picture, it's got like, yeah, there's a bridge connecting it. And it's like, it's kind of similar to the, Castle Morn, where, you know, it's like on the sea. I got kind of just limited connections to it. Oh, hi, it's a page. So, I mean, okay, sure. Nobles somewhere. I can hear that beetle. And we're down in what seems to be maybe a main, you know, entrance courtyard area. That's where we couldn't go in before. That's where the troll jumped down. And we saw these line things. Oh, he's looking at us. That's okay. He can look at us. That's fine. Maybe I'll make some fire pots. And we'll put that on my bar. And then I will throw it at one of them to aggro them, and hopefully only one. Come on. And I'll just safely poke from behind my shield for a moment. One more. There we go. Counter. Oh, I was really hoping for that stagger. Okay. He should bleed out here pretty soon, or just stagger like that. And even though we took damage, I like this build. I like this build a lot. I think it might be, you know, could see it being kind of cheesy because, you know, it's like, oh, you're using the great shield and you're just like blocking things. You're not like engaging with the enemy. But at the same time, you got to be careful with how you use it, because if you're too like willy-nilly with like what you're blocking and stuff, you can easily go out of stamina and start taking hits, and you got to wait for the right time to do a counter strike. You got to know when the final hit of combos are. That was really annoying. I just don't want them hitting me. Oh wait, fire pot. Thank you. But the build is, this setup right now is great. Using the innate bleeding weapons with blood flame blade. Use the tower shield to just safely poke is pretty solid. Now you could get like super toxic with it depending on the weapon that you want to use. Like there are some more vile combos we could be doing here. And I'm not interested in all that. I like this. I didn't intend to use Blood Flame Blade, but it fits really well with the Morning Star since we've been using that quite a bit. And then this Spiked Spear as well. I will try to go to some kind of sword as well. I want to use a straight sword as well. I want to have like other options because I do have an axe. And the axe obviously doesn't go with the... doesn't really fit with Blood Flame Blade. Which is why we have other incantations on our bar. Like, we can do other spells, because we have touched just a tiny bit into Faith and Arcane. Hit him. Yeah, perfect. Man, yeah, look how raw those guys, like, the sides of their, like, limbs are, where they've got those main, like, manacles and stuff on. Here comes another one. Big hits. Jump. Oh, what a jerk. There we go. Beautiful. I mean, but they're like outfitted for war. So were they just like chained because they couldn't be controlled? Or is there something else going on, you know? Also, look how... There's a bunch of soldiers up on the gibbets. Alright, so this is called the Redmane Castle. They are being... I mean, we're fighting a bunch of Radahn soldiers, Redmane soldiers. Which the Redmane name now makes sense with he's got the, you know, they say the red hair is a sign of his pedigree. So, I mean, that would be why they're called that. But, you know, we assume, you know, it's controlled by the Redmanes. We're fighting Redmane soldiers, hence, you know, their armor and everything, techniques. So who are these other soldiers that we see being strung up? Like, are they deserters? Traitors? Were they some other force that came by? And this is like how they set an example? Like, you know, or did, you know, was there a different force here? And then, what's it called? And then the Redmane forces came in here and occupied the castle and strung up the others? Or... who did they fight here? They fought Millennia's forces. So maybe those are the, just like regular ragtag foot soldiers from Millennia's forces, because we hear about some other ones and they're called Clean Rot Knights, and we fought one and we don't see any armor, things like that, and they were definitely a lot they definitely seem to be a lot bigger of a deal than, you know, just foot soldiers. I mean, they were the elite. Every force has some kind of elites and knights. We've got our, you know, our Redmane knights, the different Godric knights and everything, and some of them have some of the other ones. There's the Flamberge, like the Banished Knights that Godric has. You've got, you know, the Carrion Knights as well, the Enchanted Knights. Like, there are some other variations that are, like, elites, and that seems to be what the Clean Rot Knights are. And we don't see any of them hung up here. So I think I would say they're probably soldiers from Millennia's forces. The Flamberge. A greatsword featuring a flame-like undulation shreds enemy flesh, inducing blood loss. Scarlet Rot is kept at bay with flame at Redmane Castle, and as such, this beloved sword of Jerren's eventually became the symbol of the castle itself. Now, we've heard of Lord Jerren a little bit from that ghost, something about convening a festival of war to, like, bring honor, like a warrior's honor to General Radahn. Flamberge is one of my most favorite weapons. I think it's awesome. I've liked it in the previous games. I wish you could still do the sword stance like the straight swords can do in this one. I miss that for the great swords. I really don't understand why they took that away. All right. Oh, we can see, like, also just look at this. Look at this thoroughfare. How it's got all these weapons like dangling up there, like, you know, like the soldiers, right? In a way, like, or like decoration. It's so interesting. And we see there's like a fog wall. I saw the glimmers of grace. Yeah, you can see it a little bit there. It's blending in for a second. It's way up there in the passage. So we got to break through this fortification in order to get ourselves the Site of Grace. We need that. Flame fortification. Hell yeah. Let's go. There's a lot. We're just going to run around all of them, kind of like this. And then get him. Boom. I bet that turret would do a lot of damage. I don't care to test it. One of the things I kind of like about, like, flavor-wise for this character I'm doing, because his name is, like, a knave. I like the idea that he's using, like, you know, he's using a bunch of different things. In a lot of ways, like, you got those nasty militiamen. They use a bunch of different techniques, and I like that idea with this thing, too. And I want him to get some other, like, kind of, like, dirty tactics. Like, we're using a lot of bleed already. I like the idea of him also pulling out some more, like, poison stuff. I think that'd be kind of cool. The shield and stuff, just hiding behind that to do things is really satisfying to me. Yeah. But we're kind of traveling along here. More gibbet things, right? Except up there, yep, more regular ones. And there is, we know that's like an Iron Virgin Taker or something along those lines, because that's what Patch has called it. This one's different from the other couples we've seen, right? We've seen those with the sickles. We've seen one with double wheels at the Carrion Manor. So they seem to be just kind of around in all these different places, right? And I, like, wonder what the significance is of that. But if, like Patch has said, they had some kind of ancient transportation spell, like, were they around to just, like, capture and bring things places? Like, is that why they're just around different places? Is because somebody sent them out there to just go and collect people? I mean, they're also filled with meat, which is creepy. In we go. And it's a red hot wet blade. Yeah, we definitely wanted that. It's going to give us the ability to infuse weapons with flame and flame art type infusions instead of just like heavy, sharp, and magic. Radahn Soldier Helm. Oh, hey, chest. I imagine it's nothing amazing, actually. Yeah, smithing stone. I think at that point we've pretty well cleared the castle. The Redmane Castle is kind of disappointing, to be honest. Like, it's big, but it's big in the sense of, like, Castle Morn. It's not like Stormvale Castle. And I mean, there's a bit of exploring to do, but overall it's pretty, like, it's kind of bland, You know what I mean? There's not a lot of like super crazy interesting things in there. So we'll go here. Chamber outside the plaza. Looking at the map, look where Sagrace pointing us, up along here. Definitely something important there, right? Misbegotten Warrior. Alright, again, another similarity with Castle Morn, because we fought a Leonin Misbegotten, right? This one's, he's the same guy, but he's Misbegotten Warrior. Which, I mean, they are misbegotten, right? This one's specifically a warrior, I guess. Now, look how they've got that red, like a red mane, right? Isn't that like a... It would make sense then, like, that they would kind of seek out kinship among Redmane soldiers. And now we've got a Crucible Knight. Alright, so what's a reason for that? Like, why is he here, I wonder? Fully charged R2. Now, I don't think they can bleed, unfortunately. It should not have rolled backwards. It should have hopped. Counter. Nice. He's being a little burly. I'm not doing very much damage at all to him. Tried to do that fully charged R2. I mean, it worked out. It's just not a lot of damage. Oh, God. The guard counters, dude, are just, like, absolutely brutal. Oh, I tried to get the shield up in time. Not enough. I'll get ready for a tail swipe. Maybe. Nope, just one of those. Ooh. See what I talk about? Like, the Great Shield can seem a little cheesy at times, but man, you mess it up, you can suddenly find yourself taking a lot of damage that you should not be taking. Oh, it's not fast enough. Yeah, see? Yeah, I need to be better about that. At least we get some health back from this. I don't remember what Ash of War I have in the Morningstar right now. Uh-oh. Mistakes were made. I guess I maybe came out with a net positive. Shit. Yeah, I knew he was doing another tail swipe, and I still freaking did it anyways. You should do big tail swipe. Yeah, 1, 2. Huh. So maybe connection here is, right, Crucible Knight dealing with like the Crucible of Life, where like all life ruins Greatsword, where all life like once blended together. And then you've got this Misbegotten guy, and we go and we look at all the different types of Misbegotten, because it's not just like people where it's like, oh, they're all people. Sometimes they're wearing different armor, sometimes they're doing different spells and stuff. Like, they are literally different from each other, even though they're all Misbegotten. Like, some of them have wings, some of them have big old tails and are just gnarly gray looking. Some of them have these big red liony looking manes. Like, what's the deal there? Redmane Castle Plaza going up again further. But, you know, if they've got all these different aspects, you know, it ties in with why there would be a Crucible Knight there, maybe, in like a connection there. And then their dude was a Redmane, tying with Redmane Castles, and, you know, that red color as pedigree for Lord Radigan. Ruins Greatsword, though. Here it is. Originally rubble from a ruin which fell from the sky, this surviving fragment was honed into a weapon, one of the legendary armaments. The ruin it came from crumbled when struck by a meteorite. As such, this weapon harbors its destructive power. It does a unique skill, Waves of Destruction. Raise it up high, then strike it against the ground to fire off a wave of gravitational forces. So we know meteorites and stuff have gravity like implications and forces and magic with them, because we've got those Starcaller guys that are hanging around sites where you can find meteorites, and they have these fragments that they throw and can do gravity type magics. And a meteorite coming from, you know, the sky and stuff kind of ties in with the like astrologers and sorcery and stuff with glintstone, because they would be watching the sky, so you would see that as well, right? And you would observe it and maybe fashion magic from it. Now, an interesting thing about this Ruins Greatsword It's a fragment, and then it was honed into a weapon. Now there's a bunch of other items like the glow stones, this warming stone. It's a ruined fragment, and then it's blessed with an incantation of the two fingers. So there's all these ruined fragments, and depending on how they're treated, they have all these different properties. Like the ruined fragments themselves just seem to have impressive potential and power, right? Look at this, a ruined fragment that has undergone simple processing. Makes it all colorful. Here's a glowstone, polished ruined fragment that shines brighter than a rainbow stone. There's even something else too, man. Script stone, ruined fragment was a cipher inscription. But the fact that you could take a large one and then hone, probably, polish and sharpen it and turn it into a weapon, like there's some kind of great versatility in these things. And they were floating, right? There's stuff that, the ruined fragments talking about how it came from a temple in the sky. Except, maybe it got hit by a meteorite, right? If it's all coming from this temple floating in the sky, a castle in the sky, and then it was struck by a meteorite, and then, you got all these pieces on the ground. So is it all just left to ruins all across the world? And which meteorite was it that that hit it? Was it just a rinky-dink one? Was it a major one? Like, what's the deal? And what's interesting looking at this, if you look on it, it's got like, some veins of gold in it, which a lot of those meteorites, when you go and you look at the various sites that you can see them in the ground, they have gold on them. So maybe the temple was also made out of meteorite if it's got the gold, and if the meteorites are associated with gravity magic, that could explain why the temple could freaking float in the sky. There's a guy here. He's hooded. He looks very much like Gael from what's it called? Like he's just got that old kind of look to him. But his clothes remind me of like kind of a jesterly look, but I think there's actually like a what is this cover? Does it cover anything? Kind of makes me think of the moon. But I think there is actually like a historical armor or like appearance thing that is based on.
Oh, tarnished are you? How did you slip inside with the gate closed? No matter. If you can fell one of them, you're a champion in my book.
Champion.
I am Jerren, foolish
Jerren.
old warrior and witness. Incidentally, do you like a good festival from time to time?
Yeah, tell me about it.
Well, it's true. This fortress houses only the vanquished.
Huh.
But when the stars align, we celebrate. A war festival honoring the last battle and death of General Radahn.
Okay.
The mightiest demigod of the Shattering and bearer of a great rune.
I love a good festival, and this must be what Iron Fist Alexander was trying to get to, right? And we know now that Star Scourge medallion would tie in with Radahn, because he just called him the mightiest demigod of the Shattering. And, he holds a great rune, also tracks. But he says he's dead, like the death of General Radahn. So I guess when he fought Millennia to a standstill, he died in the process?
Well, good. As you should. The festival affords glory to warriors. Then all you need is a little patience. When the stars align, the festival will be declared.
Okay. About EG? Okay.
Well, I haven't heard.
Why does he know EG?
Then you must serve Princess Rani.
Yes.
Next time you speak to E.G., tell him this. The Festival of Radahn will surely set Rani's fate back into motion.
Okay.
Why? Is that old fool still hammering her weapons? His enormous frame cramped in that little place? Bit of a haughty sort. Strange fella when I knew him. And funny thing, his swords were all blood to stone.
Oh, interesting.
One of them decayed when faced with a scarlet rot.
Oh. So the Scarlet Rot could even rot, like, weapons and things? interesting. So he knew EG. Why would we even know to ask him about EG? But he said when the festival convenes, then, Ronnie's fate and the stars are released or whatever. I'm already forgetting it because I had like 100 things cross my mind. But that would like free Ronnie's fate. Now, I mean, the thing about that, right? So there's a bunch of connections we can make with that. Because when we go and we read the astrologer's set, how they would read the fate in the stars and were heirs to the glintstone sorceries, but alas, the night sky no longer cradles fate. Now, he was saying with the festival, it'll free the stars and thus Ronnie's fate. So we know, like this says, there's no more fate in the stars. So like if that's the case, then maybe Ronnie can't, her fate is arrested as well. But then we've got like how is it happening? So we've got this right here, the Star Scourge heirloom, which is talking about General Radahn, mightiest of the demigods. He confronted the falling stars alone, and he crushed them in his conquest, sealing the very fate of the stars. So with his actions, he stopped the fate of stars, which seems to be tied in with Ronnie. Now, and what else do we learn about some falling stars? I mean, what is a falling star? It's a meteorite, right? A meteor. And it hit a temple in the sky, creating these ruined fragments all over the place. Yeah, so interesting tie-ins there. And then we also learn, that the rot seemed to affect even weaponry and stuff, which would be a pretty big deal if you're trying to use these weapons to fight the Scarlet Rot, and then your weapons just kind of corrode and, waste away. So he was able to make them. And why would he make weapons for the Redmanes and stuff is because General Radahn is the son of Rennala, who EG ultimately served. Like, yeah, he's a retainer for Ronnie right now, but ultimately, probably at that time, Rennala might have been, the head, or maybe, just a family ties in between, they were willing to work together.
Have patience. When the stars align, the festival will be declared.
Okay. I was just going to cut it like right there, but let's see if EG has something else to say. So let's go talk to him. Oh my god, he's got a lot to say. I guess we didn't talk to him since we left talking to Ronnie and stuff, because we're supposed to meet Blythe down under Limgrave, because we're looking for the sacred treasure of Nokron. So we got to get the sacred treasure of Nokron. There's also stuff that ties in with the fate of Ronnie, apparently, in this festival and those stars, which and that makes sense too, because if she's part of the Caelid royal family, which are sorcerers, they care about the stars. So, that makes sense. About Jerren.
Jerren. Now that's a name I haven't heard for a while. Before taking up the banner of General Radahn, he was a guest of the Caelid royal family.
Ooh.
An expert swordsman, to be sure. But ever eccentric. No surprise he'd get wrapped up in some festival. Oh no. Wait, how did I not see it before? I ought to retire as war counselor for such a gross oversight.
Okay.
Let me explain. The fate of the Caelid royal family is guided by the stars.
Yeah.
As is the fate of Lady Rani, first heir in the Caelid royal line. But General Radahn is the conqueror of the stars, who stood up to the swirling constellations, halting their movement in a smashing victory.
Huh.
And so, if General Radahn were defeated, the stars would once again resume their movement, as would Lady Rani's destiny. Perhaps even revealing the elusive path that leads to Nokron.
Okay. About Blythe. Let's talk about Blythe real quick.
Blythe is Lady Rani's stepbrother.
Okay.
Rani's mother, Queen Rennala, approved of him, and they played like siblings from childhood. They were always happy to have me tag along as well. When Lady Rani renounced her flesh and chose the dark path of the Empyrean, Blythe and I swore allegiance as vassals. But none of us will ever forget our earliest days together. Promise to look after Blythe for me, will you? The man is honest to a fault. But fortunately, Now he has you.
That's really sweet, actually. Huh. Stepbrother. So stepbrother from whose side? Or maybe was he just adopted? They didn't say adopted brother, though. He just says stepbrother, which implies, like, a marriage thing in a way. Unless it's a mistranslation. Who knows? Please go to the festival grounds.
Go with Blythe to the festival grounds. Should General Redmane be defeated, the stars would once again resume their movement, perhaps revealing the elusive path to Nokron.
Okay. Good stuff. Very cool. I, like, never get that dialogue option because I never do the sequence of events just right to make that happen because it's very picky in how you do it. But thanks for checking it out, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, we're gonna keep it going. We still need to get ourselves, like, yes, we did all kinds of crazy stuff over there to, you know, in Castle Redmane, which ultimately tied in with Ronnie, even though we were trying to find the medallion. We're trying to find the Dectus Medallion to go up to the Altus Plateau. So we're going to have to keep kind of looking around for it, and which is probably what I'm going to do in the next one as well. But yeah, until then, take care.